Earlier this week, we told you about a former humane agent who was sentenced to more than 15 years in prison for his role in the deaths of more than a dozen dogs. That case came to light thanks to the work of a Camel detective, but his work also uncovered a link to a nationally known decades-old missing persons case. Corey McCrae explains how the investigation may have provided a new break in the case.
Madison, good evening. Detective Jim Conroy tells me he got a call from the New Hampshire State Police shortly after Baldwin's arrest, saying that these fingerprints that were submitted upon his arrest matched a set of prints in a car from a missing woman back in the early 2000s.
Based on what I have learned of him, and I would think he would definitely be a viable suspect and somebody worth, investigating.
Detective Jim Conroy has become quite familiar with Stephen Baldwin, a former humane agent in Union County, Ohio, who was just sentenced to more than 15 years for an elaborate scheme where he promised to rehabilitate dangerous dogs for profit, but instead killed them. At least 18 dogs to date.
A few weeks after his arrest, I received a call from the New Hampshire State Police stating that there was a hit on his fingerprint.
And the last thing I ever expected was for Stephen's case to intersect with Maura Murray's disappearance, but here we are.
James Renner, a journalist and host of True Crime Weekly podcast, has been following her case for a while and tells me he asked Baldwin about his fingerprint being found in a car she was in.
And when I spoke to him the day of his sentencing, admitted that and said what he was told was the fingerprint was on a CD or a CD case found in Maura Murray's car.
According to Renner, Stephen and Maura attended West Point together, were in a relationship, and left around the same time.
He goes to California for a while, eventually ends up in Ohio and becomes this quasi-celebrity known for his work in dog rescues.
With more local news, I'm Corey McCrae.